This video isn't going to be fun. The visuals you're about to see are to celebrate the content these creators made regardless of why or how they stopped creating content. Do not mention who they are now, why they stopped creating under the model, or where they may be. Talk about the content they created while they were the VTuber. Imagine one day you get home from school or work, sit down at your computer and open YouTube or Twitter to see what your favorite VTuber is up to. Excited for their next piece of content you love so dearly, only to discover a graduation notice on Twitter or an announcement on their stream that they will be ceasing all activities. You start to wonder why this happened. What caused it? Was it the fans? Was it because they joined another corporation? Will they ever return? Sometimes, no. That's it. That's the last you'll ever see or know of them. Their assets will be archived, their streams disappear, you have their merch, but what do you do with it now? This was a video I begrudgingly wanted to make when I was writing The Effort of Hololive Part 1, and on February 9th, 2023, while I was writing Part 2, a Japanese VTuber named Temako graduated. As a parting gift to her fans, she left a one-shot manga behind on her Twitter in both English and Japanese called I Graduated, Death of a VTuber. The first page of the manga is Temako as the VTuber model announcing her graduation. We're taken back to a moment of innocence when she's having fun on a stream with her friend, Toy. They're playing Puyo Puyo Tetris. Once stream ends, they sign off to have fun in the virtual world. She begins reflecting on all the joys that come with VTubing, like meeting new friends, having supportive fans, and the dreams of making it big. She goes to a rooftop and shouts to the wind for the world to support her. They go to a bar and have a fun chat when a friend asks an important question. When will we die? Temako laughs it off, taking the conversation as somewhat of a joke, while acknowledging her friend Toy's concerns with a simple answer. She doesn't take it too seriously until she reads Toy's retirement notice. Toy explains that the real Toy and Temako will continue, but virtual Toy will remain in a folder until her data is eventually erased, destroyed, or corrupted. Temako tries her best to express herself, but it only angers Toy. Temako asks when her retirement stream will be, but Toy doesn't feel worthy enough for one. Toy bursts out in anger, then apologizes to Temako. Temako understands that Toy's anger is not directed at her. Then Toy asks another important question. If you retire and your data is saved in a folder, are you really still alive? Temako has a moment of reflection. Unintentional or not, there's a lot of weight in this one panel. Temako is ashamed for laughing. The look of shock isn't just for herself, or how the situation at the bar went down. It's because everyone around her will eventually meet the same fate. This applies to real life, and most of us experience this between 16 and 20. But here in the virtual world, the turnover rate seems very high. Their death can come suddenly, at any time. Virtual Temako never thought about this. She thought it would always be fun and games. She started wondering what we, their creators, viewers, and controllers, see them as. She lets these thoughts go on her walk back to her virtual house, until she gets her own retirement letter in the mailbox the same night, and has to ask herself again. What does it mean for a VTuber to die? She has her final retirement stream, but real-life Temako never formally announced it. Virtual Temako is surprised to see this, but wishes to spend her last moments playing with the viewers. During her final stream, she notices an increase in chatters and viewers by 215 people, wondering why her retirement stream is the most watched. The messages are full of sadness and love, wishing she wouldn't retire, so much that the lurkers came out of the works to wish her well. For a moment in her mind, she's upset at everyone for not showing up sooner, a thought she quickly regrets having in the first place. Temako expresses how she wanted to keep on living as the stream is ending. Then a message comes through. Even though you're retiring, you will continue to live on in me. Temako notices the chat being filled with these messages. Messages of thanks, messages of enjoyment, and messages about memories. She realizes that her death isn't the end, that she'll last in the memories of everyone who watched her. She makes a final request, and the stream ends. Please don't forget about Temako. Okay? This message about her death is something that we as humans have to come to terms with. The first VTuber I know from memory who had a request like this was Nekomata Okayu. Their memory will last, but for how long? When was the last time you went to their channel and watched one of their VODs? If there's a channel and VODs list to go back to. Most of the content creators you know today aren't the same ones I grew up with. They haven't retired, they weren't canceled, and they haven't stopped no matter how successful or unsuccessful they've gotten because they want to make you laugh, smile, think, paranoid, and or reveal the truth. One day they'll have to move on. We're still in the early stages of YouTube and creators will rotate out over the next 10 to 20 years. VTubers are a different and newer subset of creator, and a story may be drastically different if they're with a company. Team 4-Star was one of the largest channels in our community to hang up the towel and say that they were done with that one form of content they were creating and started to move on to the next. And one of them moved along with the times and wanted to continue creating content. For now. Imagine Fubuki or Sora being the last members in Generation 0 and 1, with Generation 2 and 3 having fully moved on. Imagine the rest of Hololive's roster looking like this. Same with Nichi Sanji. Will Alira and Millie be last? Luca and Folger? Bombs is a company just like this already, where 2 of the first 3 are gone. And yes, I know there are many more, that's not the point. For some of the talents and corporations, it's not a large deal to worry about, but some of the idols in Hololive are coming up on their 6th year. The top stage performers and music artists keep working because it's fun, it's their life. Acting, singing, and dancing on stage, with most of their work getting recognized at the beginning, or only near the very end in the last 2 decades. This is different from the idol industry, where most female idols retire at age 26 to 28. The VTuber idol industry is new, and doesn't have any references for an average graduation date aside from Kizuna Ai and now Mirai Akari. Talents can be any age, work with any age despite being older, without feeling like they look aged for the stage they're performing on, with talents much younger than them. Their career can end the instant a new contract comes around and it doesn't line up with their interests, or if they feel the work isn't worth the pay they're getting with the cut the company is taking. They might reject the contract because of burnout, loss of motivation, or they don't want to keep up the facade anymore. Shown in Temako's manga, a sudden graduation or retirement is the case many have already experienced with their favorite VTuber or content creator. If they haven't, the VTuber you watch will eventually move on from their current model or content creation entirely. 3 of some of the largest people in the VTubing community graduated, retired, and went on an indefinite hiatus within a month's time while writing this script, and they gave us at most 1 month's notice. An indie VTuber I was following submitted their hiatus as well with only a 3-day notice. The turnover rate seems pretty high compared to many content creation platforms, mostly due to Twitter's algorithm pushing that into your feed after a VTuber you follow has followed every other VTuber possible on the platform and liked the post. There was a boom of VTubers during the lockdown, and the graduations you're seeing are from the people who started then. Many have gone into hiatus or rarely stream since they haven't given up on content creation, holding on to the dream, hoping to still return. Reasons for their graduation are listed in most to least frequent. 1, because Hiroshi can't support themselves. 2, they become independent or join a corporation. And be sure to greet them as a new VTuber instead of flexing your knowledge about knowing their past content. Please, I beg of you, stop flexing it. It can land them in legal trouble, or the haters from their previous fanbase will follow them to it. Number 3, the consequences of their own actions that get them cancelled. Some of the events I've seen on Twitter can be resolved in DMs. Some of it is only to raise some awareness, and if you ever see someone getting cancelled for something legitimate, keep an open mind and wait for the response first. And always remember people have room to grow and learn from their mistakes. Number 4, they get doxxed. This one puts the creator in danger and can result in their death. For the love of God, stop doing it. Number 5, the death of a VTuber. Zathurnalia, retirement date November 18th, 2021. Passed away in a car accident 2 days before her 1-year debut anniversary. Ugoku-san, a game VTuber who had made a few posts about her depression before her death was announced on the 31st of December, 2021. She had a YouTube video talking about how she didn't want to live anymore and how she only was living for her family, with a lighthearted tone to it. Most people would have seen it as another piece of content. When you listen to it, it's kinda hard not to see it that way as well.
で生きてるのかを毎日生きてないんだよ。死んでないだけ。今日はマジそういう動画。需要のない動画。で病んでて。こんにちは、動くチャンネル。今日は一人で親行動やります。最近マジで病んでてさ。I
wish I could tell you more about her content, but I don't know enough Japanese to tell you about all the things she did currently. Fururi Genda. Her death was announced by her husband through her Twitter on January 9th, 2022, saying she was found dead in her room. Chilu from Virtual Real. Virtual Real was a company created with Niji Sanji and Bilibili, connected more to Niji Sanji. Chilu had announced health issues on her birthday, January 23rd of 2022, and that she will be ceasing all activities on Bilibili by the 25th of January, the same year. On May 9th of 2022, during the 13th generation's first anniversary stream, they had announced that Chilu had left the world forever. These 4 are the only reported deaths I've discovered. There's probably a few out there who got into an accident at best, and you've never heard from them again. And I'm not trying to make light of the situation at all. Their content stopped, they had nobody to inform their fans, they disappeared without a trace. In the 7 years since the term VTuber was coined, we're lucky it's this small a number. Even luckier that we haven't had an Oshinoko situation, because that situation has happened in Japan with idols, and in America with actors. A few other reasons they move on are self-explanatory, like a company dissolving, their termination, or a full retirement from their content creation activities, never to be seen from again. The reasons behind their graduation is only part of their death. We don't know how much will be retained as the community continues, what is considered a classic, or what has staying power. How many remember Ikum Bokum, or I'm horny? How about Hi Honey? What will be shared 10 years from now when memes get regenerated by the internet? Imagine being in your late 80s trying to remember what the funny dog tuber said or looked like. time and effort went into designing and making a VTuber model. Creative decisions that get canned after graduation. There's some models I'd love to see keep going. Merch I'd like to wear. Designs wasted because their content was ended one way or another. One day we may see the companies who have archived assets sell them to a company for casual VTuber streetwear like anime merch, or sell it to an anime studio to make characters out of them. It would be a shame for those assets to be wasted and never seen again. The dreams behind the content creator while in the model are also gone. Whatever goals they had set, complete or not, will remain in the past. It's worse for any corporate streamer who worked to reach their goals and have to start over from the bottom. Any uniquely creative idea they had before cannot be done under their new IP if they decide to keep going. If they have credits somewhere in an anime or a game, they can't associate with it. You may be thinking, this doesn't kill anyone though. Nobody actually dies when their data gets preserved or deleted. Somewhat. The person on screen is a personality and brand. Markiplier, when he stops creating content, will still be around and alive, so his brand will continue. He can keep selling merch at events. He can make new merch of himself and become his own clothing line if he wanted. You can see him. You can watch him. He might even return. VTubers lose their brand when their avatar goes away. It's not a person's actual death, but there is one who will suffer actual death as time goes on. Neruo-Sama has two options. Keep being updated forever until Binary is dead, or she's converted to the new system beyond Binary, or die when the project ends. She is more likely to die due to depreciation as the code updates over time. Her entire set of code may one day be rewritten or the language converted, making her not the same as before. She has a chance to die as AI. If some of what she says isn't scripted and she's got a true train of thought, we're facing morality issues. I've discovered a few AI VTubers who will have the same dilemma. If we're lucky, they can last almost forever, depending on how much freedom we want to give them. And if they can be hosted on a server long after the creator is dead, these may be the VTubers we can always be entertained by until the end. Fanta is a love song to idol fans from the content creator, saying they love the fans and the support they receive. They love putting on a show for everyone and how much it means to them. The dedication they have to deliver, telling them about their struggles from critiques, haters, bullies, and dramas. An expression of their goals to never quit, celebrating their accomplishments, telling us how fun it is to be on stage for everyone, and the unfortunate feeling that comes with the concert's end, and maybe even their career's end. While it may not be intended, the song has a bittersweet feeling at the end of it, making it seem like a graduation song. And I feel it can be used both as a graduation song and a celebration song of an idol's success. The only other song that's got a feel close to this is Taisetsu Photographs from Hololive, which feels like the nostalgia song for VTubers. Even if graduations and retirements are inevitable, we may have something to look forward to. In the future, there may be a reunion for the VTubers and idols. They may show up at conventions and host panels together, have a reunion concert on a stage, and perform live in their 3D, and if we're lucky, physical performance for a reveal. These companies may be taking photos of them when they sign on to show the contrast after time for these reunions. Not saying I desire it. If they want to remain anonymous, that's fine. And while their virtual self and brand may die, there's a lot of content we have to look forward to. Unless the small turtle decides tomorrow, I'll be the first to do it! Until then, let us enjoy the creators, cherish the moments they provide, and support them to the fullest. Thank you all for joining me on this side of the universe, and I'll catch you in the next world.